What's up, everybody? How we doing? Tuesday night hangout as scheduled, a little bit later, but we made it and on time. So if anybody was taking the over-under there, kind of blew that out of the water. But appreciate you guys. Let me know, as always, where you're listening from. Give as many shout-outs as possible. How we doing on a Tuesday night? CMV, yes, we are going to have the 16-man fantasy league. Thomas and I are doing that. We're working on it. Probably an update tomorrow, I would imagine, on the Wednesday link. But stay tuned for that. Sean, what's up, man? Can't wait for week 1 in Brazil. Go Birds. Go Birds, baby. We are like, 17 days, 18 days away from that? That is insanity. We're so close. Wow, that was loud. Mute that. We're so close. 17 to 18 days. It's ridiculous. It felt like it was forever, and here we are. Training camp almost done. Tomorrow is the last day, by the way, for those wondering. Tomorrow is the last day for open media access to training camp. So roster cut happening. Yep, August 27th. We're 1 week away from that. Lots to get into. Injury updates, potential wide receiver 3 trade, linebacker competition, everything else. Yeah, you could just go on and on. But shout outs to Happy Emoji, Frank from Philly. What's up? Jay Sanchez. Josh B. Lar Powell. I know we were communicating beforehand. Robert Alessandrini. Sorry. Shake Man Genetics. Cool Rains. CMV, already said. Star Luxia, I think. Eagles Prods. D Money. Welcome to the Let's Run It tier. Let's go. The membership there. Again, remember, anytime you become a member of the channel, that automatically gets you the entries into potential winning of game tickets during the regular season. Obviously, we have some outside of that, and tonight is going to be one of those giveaways. So if you have not already, I've got a link in the description. Going to be giving away 2 tickets to the Nick Foles game. The really more so official, really more so, I guess, the official Eagles home opener. Technically, it's Brazil, but, it's basically the official one. So, John, what's up? John's going to be there. It's going to be fun. Still waiting to hear back about the, preference or good options for staying close to the stadium and things like that. So, we'll keep you posted. But really not a better game to go to, quite honestly. Robert Burneth said, just found your page a few days ago. Fire content. I appreciate that. Hopefully I said your last name correctly. I 50-50 chance. Sometimes it's great, sometimes not. BC says, shout out to this man. 100 you real one for real. Thanks. Appreciate that. Sean Thomas, dude, appreciate the 5-bomb. With a little strange, I don't even know what that is. That's some sort of fruit. It says, how's it going? I like that. Not bad for a first super on this stream. Appreciate it, though. Frank says, you're by far the best birds coverage on YouTube. Appreciate all you do. Fly Eagles Fly. Go Birds, baby. I appreciate that. Thank you guys. Y'all know y'all are the best. So I do appreciate the words of kindness. But LA Kid says, what's up, Josh? Ready for some Eagles football? I am absolutely ready. Ryan Solomon, fade into you. JC Kirk. I think I said Gray Man. Not sure. Prolific. What's good? Jeremy Cantarero. To say that correctly. What's up? Tracy Ann, go Birds. How about that? Appreciate you guys tuning in. Oh, by the way, I got to mention this also real quickly. Official sponsor of the channel. Just get the main things out of the way real quickly. But got another fantasy football league because I had several comments of people being like, hey, man, that filled up too quickly for the last one. Unfortunately, the draft is not moving very quickly, but it did fill up quickly. So you're correct in that. If you did not get in on the Underdog Fantasy Football League, I've got another 12-man. The link is up there. It's in the pinned comments. It's also down in the description. So go check it out if you're wanting to jump into that. It's a $25 entry, best ball, and it's a slow draft. I'm just going to warn you, it's termed as a slow draft. They should term it as an absolute crawl because it takes forever sometimes. Now, sometimes people are going a little bit quicker. Not going to say that I've been perfect about it, but I'm not taking like 2 to 3 hours to make a selection. So anyway, D Money said had to renew the membership. There you go. Back in. I appreciate it. And then let's see. We've got, now that we got the Underdog out of the way, and then I mentioned the giveaway for the Nick Foles game. So yes, as long as you got in the comments for that last one. Micah Brown, I appreciate that. Says, appreciate all your hard work. You keep us Cali fans updated day by day. Can't get enough of your channel, bro. Keep pushing the limits. Appreciate that. We are definitely trying to. Yes, Josh B., if you're in the fantasy league, draft faster. That is also very true. Should also have another video hopefully dropping late tonight. It'll be really late. Was working on that and then, had to jump on for the live stream because we missed one for a little bit. So, William, yes, appreciate that too. Going to talk about questions we have on the D. We certainly are. We're going to get into everything else that we can. So, and I appreciate all the other support as well. TNT, Band Raw. Anyway, Eagles at practice. We should start probably with Mekhi Becton. There you go. Back at practice. Probably one of the best bits of news, right? I mean, injury to his right leg, left practice on Sunday early, and then Jeff McLane came back out and said that it's not that serious, so that was the good news. But to see him back out there without an official, he wasn't out of practice. He didn't get all the reps, but I think it was more of like a pitch count. So we'll take that, especially with the right guard. I don't know how everybody else feels, but it seems like there's been a little bit of a curse on the right guard spot. I don't want to necessarily jinx it in a way to term it or phrase it as that, but I mean, we have Tyler Steen go down with ankle injury, and then now Mekhi Becton with the leg, which is thankfully, hopefully not that bad. And then we had Trevor Keegan that went down. So hopefully not too bad. He did have to go into the building, I guess, which, signifies it's a little bit worse than a situation with Saquon Barkley. But perfect timing, I guess. Flipping the bird. Appreciate the 2. Says, yes, I heard Saquon got hurt in practice. He did get hurt in practice, but I don't think, and this is just total speculation, so I could be wrong, and gosh, I hope not, but I could be. He didn't go into the building. So when you talk about Saquon getting injured or other players getting injured, usually they have a quick look, and then all of a sudden, they're leaving to go inside if it's a little bit more significant. He stayed there. He just didn't get more reps. It was a lower back injury. So shout out to, I believe it was, I mean, I guess everybody reported it at some point. I think E.J. Smith was the first one that I saw. But lower back injury, stays out for a few series, or I guess the final 3 team drives, which, again, at that point, there's no sense in putting him back in there, right? Like, what are we doing? I'm okay if we want to just wait and then have Saquon go in for Brazil, right? Like, he doesn't need any more reps. So I would be perfectly fine if we just said, hey, you know what? You're good. Brian says Saquon looked fine after practice, signing autographs and smiling. That's also a very good point. He was doing that afterward. If it was anything even minor, he would not have signed. As great as he is, as awesome of a guy as he is, I don't think he'd sit around and sign the autographs for forever. So, as far as where that's at, just a update on that side. Like I say, we'll get into all this. I mean, I'll answer questions, of course, as we got the Q&A and updates around practice and camp and everything there. Frankie Ray, appreciate the 5, man. Says, do you think Howie is going to trade for another wide receiver since no one is standing out in that receiver 3 spot? It's a fair question. Yes. Probably, yes. And I know it's not definitive, but if I had to guess, he's going to trade for a wide receiver 3. Like your wide receiver, whoever your wide receiver 3 ends up being, in my mind, is not on the roster. Although I'm curious, let me know, people in comments, who you think wide receiver 3 is. Do you think he's on the roster, or do you think you trade for him? And I guess if you do, throw a name out there. I would be also interested. The receivers were getting in some work, so shout out to them. Working on quite a bit of separation skills with Aaron Moorhead and the receiver crew, as they needed that. There you go, little video for you. JC Kirk, shout out to you, man. Welcome to the Let's Run It Club. Welcome to the Let's Run It membership tier. Appreciate that. But yes, when you talk about wide receiver 3, see Britton Covey there. Paris Campbell is back from the groin. His words were fighting for a job. So, and Nate Engel, appreciate that, man. It's first time catching you live. Been watching all spring, summer. Heck yeah. But I don't know if you necessarily, and we've talked about this, like wide receiver 3 by committee. It can work, and I think that most everyone's on the same page. You don't need a dominant wide receiver 3 as of right now. Like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley, That's more than enough. You don't need to go out and get a guy. I don't care if you say, hey, it's Adam Thielen. Hey, it's Noah Brown. Hey, it's Jahan Dotson. It's insert whoever you want. John Mechie. Like there's tons of names that have been thrown out there. None of those are massive. Now, there may be a little bit, but none of those are massive difference makers as of right now. But the reason that you would make a trade is if there's an injury. I know that you can't ever plan on that. You hope that it never happens. And you're also going in and believing like, okay, well, I guess you could say that about a lot of positions. But from what we've seen, if AJ or Smitty goes down, who are you throwing out there on the outside? Like, it's just a fair, honest question. I'm very high on Johnny Wilson. I know a lot of people are. Howie Robbery says Johnny Wilson, wide receiver 3. That's perfectly fine. But in terms of, coming in there, making the reps or getting the kind of the game breaker or having that potential, I don't know. As much as I believe and think that there's a package, or there's a lot of packages, but there's a lot of opportunity for Johnny Wilson, I don't know if I'm like 100% on, hey, that is the guy. If AJ goes down or if Smitty goes down for a couple of games, that he's the automatic insert. Ross saying, let's go with a mix of Johnny and Covey. That's true. You could do that. I can't knock it. I'll just say that right now. I mean, I understand. It would just be an agree to disagree. But Nate, you got an irrational belief in Covey? How irrational? I think he's solid. I mean, like, let me be clear. Also, I should probably like preface this and say, the fact that we've got I made the comment, I made the video about potential of Adam Thielen, and I brought up the fact that, Johnny Wilson had gotten injured, and I'm sure that everybody's already seen the injury to this point, but, if you haven't, I'll put it up there. Johnny Wilson got trucked by Jabril Peppers, which it was, it could have been a malicious hit. I don't know. It didn't bother me a ton, but it's not the best look either. So hang on, I'm pulling it up just in case. You probably already saw it by now, but there you go. But from the joint practice, right? So that's the concussion. Anyway, Johnny Wilson, I did say was concussed. For some reason, I had they're probably trolls, because I don't think they were understanding the logic behind it. I said that it was an injury, a bad injury, in the sense of a bad injury that you're losing reps for Johnny Wilson. Not a bad injury, obviously, like, oh, concussion, he's going to be out for the year or something like that. So, but he's out for, so far a week. The fact that he's been still out, not even looking like a limited or a potential return, there's a question, I guess, of if he plays in the third preseason game. Maybe he wouldn't have anyway. I would assume that if he was healthy, he would have gone out there. Kramer, Quez Watkins would be a solid pickup. See, now we're talking about trolls. There you go. That is that's not funny, actually. That's not even funny. Don't joke like that. We are done with Quez Watkins. we need to just run from the only thing. Plus, he's muffing punts over in Pittsburgh. Who knows what's going on there? David likes our own options. Howie Robbery, Johnny Wilson, similar body type to Alshon Jeffrey. No, I'm saying like long term, sure, he's your guy. I'm just thinking for 1 year, right? For 1 year, bring in somebody else. Cheesesteak, Ross may not make the team. That's potential. Yeah, he's also dealing with a concussion. I don't know. J.C. Kirk, like the idea of Adam Thielen or Jahan Dotson trade. I do too. If you talk about a player who's not going to really create a fuss, especially with Adam Thielen, like work ethic, not going to create a fuss, professional, be there when you need him to. I think that's a great option. Shout out to Jimmy Kimsky and Anthony DeBona. They were mentioning Noah Brown. It's another potential. 6'2", 215, physical, familiar with Kellen Moore's system. Had a pretty solid year last year. I think it was, 10 games, had like 30, I was looking this up earlier. I think it's like 33 catches for 560 yards or something like that. And gosh, I can't remember the touchdowns. Was it like 6? I'd have to look it up. Something like that, to the effect of roughly in that range, and only playing 10 games in that amount. So, again, if you were to say, oh, that's for a full season, not as good. 10 games, that's solid. And you don't need a ton from him. But I could see that as being a potential. Really, you could insert a lot of different Texans receivers that we've talked about, so that does make some sense also. But the fact that he's a bigger body, you can play on the outside. He played, I think, 60% outside versus 40% on the slot. Maybe I've been getting those reversed, but it was like 60-40 split, so he's comfortable either way. Got some good blocking. He's not afraid to be physical. See, now we're really starting with the trolling. It's just, Kramer, you started this, but now we've got to... Van Rott, bring back Julio. Okay, so we got that. Eagles prods. Let's pick up Kadarius Toney and Jalen Reagor. There it is. Cool Reigns. Fanny, appreciate you hanging out. We did not do the drawing yet. No. James Bond is here. Look at that. Hey, bro. What's up, man? We don't need a Tristan. You're right. We don't need another TCU bust. Get that out of here. I'm a Baylor guy, for those that are not aware, picking up on that. But we don't need another TCU bust. Yeah, Reese's Buff, man, it's these news articles hyping up Saquon being pulled early. He's going to be fine, so we're just going to put that one up there. Khalid, yeah, what about Amari Cooper? That's a potential. It seems like with his... It's a little bit... I think that's too big of a trade, right? We talk about like there's only so many mouths to feed. It's just going to be somewhat difficult it's going to be somewhat difficult where you're at, right? Because does it make the sense to go that far? Like, sure, you have a lot of talent. Does it make the sense to spend as much there to get a draft pick and financial everything else? So. Kramer, what are you doing? I see the Baylor receiver. Obey says Amari Pooper. Hell no. Okay, Weedosaurus, get out of here. Come on. And Kramer, was there ever a good Baylor receiver? Yes, there absolutely was. Josh Gordon. And it doesn't have to be for a long time. Yeah, you could look at how his career. But when he was on the field, there was a brief interim where he was, I don't know, fantasy-wise for like 8 weeks. He was, best receiver in the league? Certainly top 3. Yes, I'm with you. John, you're absolutely correct. I do agree. As of right now, we have more than enough weapons without another guy to go trade for, another wide receiver 3. I'm just saying, if Howie is trying to go all in, make sure to shore up every area or as many areas as possible, I don't know. I'm fine with you make a trade for someone. Tom Bragg says Noah Brown would be my choice. It wouldn't even take much to get him. Totally fair. Shake Man Genetics, Lockett. See, that's another one I forgot to mention, but Tyler Lockett over Cooper. Might require quite a bit, but Jeremy, you'll suit up for wide receiver 3 at this point. I have a 8.6 40 and 15-inch vert. Bro, are you crawling that 40? 8.6? I mean, I appreciate the offer, I guess. The fact that you're willing to, I guess, go out there. Van Rott, our wide receiver room just needs to step up. I believe we have what we need. CMV says kind of hilarious that Josh Gordon is the highest in your Baylor ranking. I'm just saying, the only one that I can think of being out there and automatically being dominant when he was, again, on the field. So, nonetheless, now we're getting on to Dunk for that. Dunk for wide receiver 3. This has totally gone off the rails. Bradberry now? I mean, okay, see, Jack says I'm on Mekhi. There you go. Simo, appreciate the 2. Didn't forget you. Dotson, yes, now, thanks. Short and sweet. Let's go after Jahan Dotson. Would Washington make that trade, though, also? That's another part. When we're figuring, different teams, I don't know if in the division, a rival, it's not impossible to make that trade. Just sometimes you look at, okay, if it's Howie and the Commanders have seen what's already taken place, you might ask a little bit more from Howie Roseman. You might give a little bit of a discount to another team that's not in your division if they want Jahan Dotson, and there surely would be if you're looking at it. Yeah, see, Kramer, look what you did. You started this. Danielle, that's very interesting. Okay, so off topic, but my husband's at the Copa game in Brazil right now, and at the stadium, the Birds will play week 1. They stop selling alcohol 90 minutes before the game starts. Wonder if they'll change it. That'd be kind of wild, actually, if they did that at the game 90 minutes before. I mean, I guess you control people a little bit, make sure no one goes crazy with it. Kind of surprising. I did not know that, so I appreciate you sharing that news because I had no idea that was a thing. I am curious to see the wearing green or not wearing green and what that looks like. How about this Quinyon Mitchell stuff going on? I'm sure you guys saw this. If not, Quinyon Mitchell. Today, playing you're playing on the outside. Moving on from... yeah, see, John, what? Sober football? What's that? Anyway, Q moved to the outside briefly. Shout out to Andrew DiCecco and others for making it known that Quinyon Mitchell moved to the outside, starting on the outside in the base defense, mind you. Just make sure and let's keep that accurate. But in the base defense, Q on the outside with Slay. We had not seen that before because it was traditionally Slay and Isaiah Rodgers that were on the outside. But he was on the outside with Slay, and then once they moved to the nickel defense, then all of a sudden you had Q move back inside. So it will be interesting. Like, does Fangio keep that up? Right? Is that going to be where he goes? He's talked about the different versatility. You had Cooper Dejean also getting in kind of both of those. Kai, what's up? How's it going? Go Birds. Tom, Noah Brown is young. See, we're going back to that one. I don't mind that. Undervalued, tremendous upside. He's on a team that is loaded at receiver, and it's not going to take much. That is totally fair. You probably could just sign, in my mind, just guessing, you could probably just sign Robert Woods. I would imagine that he's probably going to get cut. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, if you're going to trade even, it's probably not taking too much. Giveaway has not happened. Henry asking the question, we've not done that yet. It will happen a little bit later, which will be 2 tickets to the Nick Foles game. So good luck to everyone in advance, but we'll do that here in a little bit. If you've not already, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, because the white Eagles helmet here, obviously the Isaiah Rodgers signed helmet for everybody that's been in tune with the channel, but giving that thing away at 75,000 subscribers, and we're, 3,900, 3,800 away from it? And yeah, Lar Pal, you say, join the Underdog Fantasy League. We've got another one going because I had at least 3 or 4 different people who was like, hey, I didn't get in on it. So link pinned up there as well as down in the description. Let's see, comment there. Is it Philippe Ranger? Where can I get that shirt? All right, I'm not going to lie. Almost half, or maybe even more than half of the shirts that I wear during the shows or just here all the time is literally just going through Fanatics. So, I mean, if you type in Fly Eagles Fly, Kelee Green shirt on Google, it hopefully will come up. But a lot of them I got, I don't know, like 4 or 5 months ago. So sometimes they pop up, sometimes they don't. Hopefully it's through Fanatics, but that's the best guess. That's what I got for you. Let's see. And Danielle says that according to the Brazil, it's a city law about the no booze. So 90 minutes before, they just shut it down. That's a bummer. Well, just another reason that I'm glad that I did not attend. How about Let's see. There's Weedosaurus. I promise you, wide receivers outside of Smith and Brown won't total 100 targets combined. I could probably see that. That makes some sense. Again, like we've said, there's only so much to go around, so understandable. But yes, as far as Q, right? Eagle One, what's up? Let's run it. Yeah, you see your helmet over there. A lot of people have made claims to that helmet. We'll see who ends up winning it. David M, not a fan of Jalen Mills. Yeah, there's a lot. This has kind of gone all over the place, which is, I guess, perfectly fine. But I don't own a Dallas Sucks shirt. I should. That's probably... It's one thing for me to, go around and wear just Eagles gear, which is okay. I think if I were to wear a Dallas Sucks shirt, that, I don't know, it might be asking for it, like with my wife and everything. So I don't, which I don't know. I wouldn't mind, I guess, wearing it. Brandon Martin, a member for a month. Let's go. Says, I'm really liking the vibes of the team this year. Heck yeah. Who isn't, right? I mean, squad's looking good. Squad's feeling good. Great vibes. Jalen's on the money, locked in. Looks decisive. Has not thrown an interception in 15 practices. That's never happened before. Also, one thing that has not ever happened, according to a couple different writers, I think Brandon Lee Gowton was the first one that said this, but earlier today, Jalen and CJ GJ kind of jawing, going back and forth. A little friendly competition, nothing crazy, but, CJ's going to talk. And apparently Jalen made a great pass, and then he ended up actually walking over to the defensive side. So in the practices, they have usually, once they're running the team drills or the team drives, they have a defensive sideline and an offensive sideline. They kind of separate that way. But Jalen actually went over to the defensive side to watch the second team and was dapping everybody up and, basically building the chemistry and everything else. So apparently you haven't seen that. I wouldn't know. I'm just taking the other reporters' words for it, but it's always a positive, right? Like for anybody who's the negativity of, oh, hey, Jalen's not a good leader, or oh, Jalen's not helping the buy-in or not helping the morale of the team or anything like that, which I know that not a lot of people are believing that, but for those that did, there you go. Jalen's being a leader, as we know that he is. John M. didn't take long for Pickett. Let's see. Josh B should have 2 interceptions so we don't have the no interception preseason curse. Sure, that's fair. Take care of it now. Well, I mean, because, how... Is it a curse? We're going to see it very quick. That would not be the greatest, opening drive. Can you imagine? Hopefully that's not a jinx. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, that we're not jinxing this thing. But first drive, opening drive in Brazil, Jalen throws an interception. You go, oh, okay, great. Well, no interceptions in training camp, and here you go. Didn't take long. Oh, yay. How's young Trotter doing? Going to make the team, ? Okay, that's fair, but there's absolutely no question that he's going to make the team. Nate's answering that one for you. 1,000, I don't know what that is, 1,000,000%? 1,000,000% making the team. Yeah, I'm more so in line with what Nate's saying there. Probably going to see 54 starting come week 10. It would not surprise me. Now, you got to love the fact that Nakobe Dean is playing better. He's showing some signs. Linebackers doing well. But yes, it would not surprise me at all with the instinctual play that Trotter's shown, and really just not showing any fear, not showing that he's the moment's too big for him. He's had a few misses, sure, as everyone has. No one's, I guess, immune to that. But he's getting extra coaching. I mean, he said it in the last press conference. He's like, yeah, I'm getting coaching on the field. I'm getting coaching from Fangio, obviously from Bobby King, linebackers coach. And then he goes home and watches film with his dad, and he's getting tips and pointers there. So it's 24/7. Not that you didn't expect that, again, because he lives and breathes football, coming from the legend himself, the family there. But War saying chill, Josh. What are we chilling over? Are we talking about the Brazil? Okay, that's fair. I was saying I'm not trying to jinx it. I'm just just hypothetically, but I guess that's not a good hypothetical. Cool, Reigns. These are the most outlandish. Yeah, trade for CeeDee Lamb. Give them JamesBradberry. Fair trade. Sure, why not? Talk about a dumpster fire. I mean, what on earth? Dallas is being Dallas. I'm not going to lie. I mean, the fact that I've got local radio to listen to and hear their misery, it's great. It's music to my ears. I mean, you got to love that. Makes it fun. Let's see. Burmy saying, Omar here from Bermuda. A little about the right guard position starter. Let's see. Steen and Becton carrying a little injury. Yes, was talking about Tyler Steen and Mekhi Becton a little bit. But Becton's the starter. There's no denying that. There's no question, no argument. I don't know. You can say whatever you want to, but he is the starter. So that's a for sure. And really, it just comes down to health, which he was back out there. I was sharing a little bit of a clip, but I'll throw another one up there. Becton back out on the practice field and getting some reps in. Tyler Steen hopefully is going to be good to go by week 1. Again, he won't start, unless something drastic happens to Mekhi Becton. But you want the depth. You need the depth because hopefully nothing terrible with Trevor Keegan, who got injured, had to leave practice early. But if Becton were to go down, as of right now, we had the right guard backup today being Nick Gates, who you see right there in the bottom left. But we're getting a little shaky here with the camera. But Nick Gates was your right guard. Frank from Philly, no problem, man. No worries that you're late. I know these streams are, basically whenever we can do it. Kramer asking about the CrossFit competition. It is this weekend. So again, just as a reminder to some people that may not be aware, there will not be a Friday night live stream because I'll be in the process of doing that, and also will not be able to stream the final preseason game on Saturday, unfortunately. I know. But should have a recap video on Monday getting back. But, yeah, busy this weekend. Priya says Tyler Steen got no ankles at this point. I mean, it's an injury, right? Like, especially for an O-lineman, lower leg injuries, ankle injuries, not the greatest. I wouldn't just go ahead and write him off. Justin saying Anthony joining tonight. The best training camp battle to watch has been seeing who wins between him and his kid's bedtime. I don't know. If Anthony's free, he is more than welcome to. It's actually been a while. It's been too long. We'll see. Maybe he makes an appearance. Maybe he shows up here in the chat. We can get him in. Wouldn't be too bad. Let's see. The bird section. Appreciate the vibe. Says, peace, I'm a big fan of your work. Do you think there's something to the Khalil Mack to the Eagles mumblings or rumblings or whatever? No, I don't think so. I appreciate the support though. No. It'd be crazy. I know that it's the understandable of like, okay, Vic Fangio ties with Khalil Mack. What Khalil said about Fangio, the high praise that he gave him. You love the idea of a pass rusher, but you're not gonna. There's no way that I'm gonna see Howie be like, oh, hey, let's go make that type of trade. Let's go get him, add to the group. I really don't know that you're gonna see any sort of big trade except for wide receiver 3, and I don't even know if I'm gonna say that's a big trade of who they end up getting, but it'd just be like a solid piece. You're like, okay, cool, maybe you consider a Noah Brown a big trade, but I think that's about as big as it gets. Wouldn't be like a blockbuster you know, it'd be fun. It'd be great. Who doesn't love the potential of that? Dennis, that's a fair point. Why even talk about Dallas? It's well, because we like to make fun. It makes us laugh. So CMV, look no further for Josh than your wide receiver 3. Nope, that's not what you want. I promise you. If you're thinking that there's any opportunity there, then you're more than happy with Britton Covey and Johnny Wilson and Anaya Smith and everybody else. Which, speaking of, actually, it's a good segue here because I'm going to go down to College Station for the CrossFit action, which is Anaya Smith, old stomping grounds. So, A&M. He had a really good practice. So for those that are wondering, according to reports, best practice of camp for Anaya Smith, showing some promise. He needs to, because if he's going to make the roster, he really needs to, show out in a little bit of a better way. But at least it's a positive sign. Did not have any drops, showing some confidence, looking like he was confident out there, getting a little separation. So I don't know. It's going to be difficult to see who that ends up being. But yeah, seeing some of the others' comments before for Khalil Mack at the right price. But I guess also talking about wide receiver 3, Cooper DeJean. It's another topic to bring up, another rookie, along with Anias. He's starting to get some reps, which is good. Hasn't looked the greatest, if we're being fair. But, he's just getting back now from the hamstring injury. So I think we got to be a little bit patient with Coop. Played a little bit, I guess, first off in the nickel. That seems to be the first spot. And then is slowly moving into the outside corner role. Getting in reps both sides. But Kramer grasping for straws there with Josh with Smith. Draft crush. Okay, well. Long term, right? He could be. David saying Smith's been better lately. He has. But yeah, as far as Coop goes, again, we're being patient with him. He got beat by Covey on, I think, 3 straight reps was the report. So, and it's sometimes set up for the offense. I understand that. But if we talk about like Q locking down people and Isaiah Rodgers locking down people, Kelee and Ringo, they've all had wins, but Coop apparently got beat fairly badly. Covey had some good separation. So it's, again, we preface it with early, not expecting a ton. He's getting back from the hamstring. He's had a lot of mental reps, but, to get out there in actual first-time live action and on a pitch count, nonetheless, he'll be okay. No reason to freak out. No reason to be concerned. He might be like a slower, insert later into the year, get a lot more actual playing time, field time later in the year. And that'd be perfectly fine. Again, the fact that you have so much depth is like, all right, cool. It's a great problem to have. I'm not worried about it. We'll just say that. Skirm says we make fun of Dallas because 90% of us have seen the Eagles win a Super Bowl before Dallas got back to a championship game. Aria, I think it's kind of blasphemy. You live in Dallas, but YOLO, whatever. I don't know about that. I disagree. I think it's smart. I'm showing some wisdom for being an Eagles fan. I'm showing that I have some, being able to show some resilience. The fact that I didn't just stick with the status quo of being a Cowboys fan. I don't know. Maybe just my opinion. Appreciate that, though. Let's see. Other questions here. Let's see. I heard a Philly guy on YouTube bad-mouthing Blankenship. I don't know who that was. Dennis, I'm curious if you know. LA kid. Look like I can run some crisp routes. I don't know. I played that and also quarterback, but we're literally talking about nothing. Basketball was more the sport anyway, so. Ace Flame, hey Josh, what are the odds of getting another Eagle to join the show before the season starts? That's a good question. What are the odds of that? It's not impossible. It's unlikely. If I was going to put a percentage on it, though, I'm going to say like 30%. Does that work for you? 30-ish%. I feel like that's where I'd go with. Because again, with camp, which is granted about to kind of slow down, and then they'll have a little bit of a break before they go to Brazil, maybe right before. But they're busy. They're trying to get ready for a traveling to Brazil and all the other stuff, walkthroughs, prep for game. So I don't know. We'll try to make it work. Although I will say, whether this is before the season or during the season, when we're real close to 75,000 subs, like I'm saying, when we're like, I don't know, 100 away, or maybe whenever we do hit 75,000, we'll have Zay back on the show. Like, we'll figure out a way to make that work. And I'm fairly confident that we can get him to show back up. So then maybe, whenever we do the actual drawing for the helmet, then he's actually there present and gets to witness that too. So that would be the I guess most likely for what I would say. Again, gotta get to 75,000 subscribers. So, just a little subtle plug if you haven't hit the sub button, but there you go. Frank, appreciate you just letting us know that too, man. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Jay thinking about moving to San Antonio. All right. Clayton, question here. Tuesday night show, hanging drinking with a fam, so couldn't participate. Go Birds, no problem. Appreciate you, man. Have fun with the fam. There you go. We got some more Dallas sucks. Dev, question for who is your ideal starting cornerbacks this season? That's a good one. What about everybody else? Your ideal starting corners this season? For me, it's you start out with Slay and you start out with Isaiah Rodgers on the outside and you have Q in the nickel. As time goes on, if there's regression from Slay, then all of a sudden you have Isaiah Rodgers on the outside and you have Q on the outside, and then the hope would be by then Cooper Dejean has picked up, kind of been caught up to speed, and you play him there at nickel. But I can understand Kelee Ringo if you want to go that route over Isaiah Rodgers. I've seen some of those. I figured there was a joke in there, but I appreciate it. Oh, good. Okay. I just took a stab at the first name, honestly, so I'm glad that I did pronounce that right. D-Money, 75K before the season for sure. I don't know, because we're what, 17 days? Can we get there? Hopefully, yes. Arya saying you're going to hit 75 real soon. That we'll see. We're pushing. We're trying to get it before the season. Shout out to Lar. Let's go. Member for 9 months. We're coming up on a year. I mean, you're almost there. It says 303 in the chat, but only 125 likes. Let's go, everyone. Yeah, if you want to just drop a like, that's much appreciated. Jason, what's good, man? Asking what's the latest. The latest is the Eagles were having Q lined up outside and to start out, which is, unusual from the past because he'd been traditionally in the slot. Moved him outside, then moved him back in to the inside. talking about potentials for the corners. Saquon did get injured. It was not that serious based on just reading between the lines and what some reporters were speculating there. We'll have, I'm sure, an official update tomorrow. It wouldn't surprise me if the Eagles just said, hey, let's give him a day off. Let's have a limited session or whatever. But I don't think it's anything drastic. Then you also have Mekhi Becton, who is back, somewhat on a pitch count, but he showed back up. Trevor Keegan getting injured. Hopefully that's not serious because he did leave. But yeah, that's where we're at. Thoughts on wide receiver 3? Jamar, my cousin's back, showing up. You're late, but you're here. Better late than never. Oh, Dennis. Okay, I appreciate that. Guy knocking Blankenship. Okay, I mean, I didn't see, but I mean, we'll have to see this season. I think that Reed can be good if he stays healthy. I think that's the question with a lot of guys. Question with the roster. I don't know if you guys saw, but Bill Barnwell, who is an ESPN writer, if you're asking yourself who that is, or you're not familiar, but knocking the Birds, saying that he believes they're one of the top teams set for a decline, actually, which is kind of surprising, but expects the Eagles to not do well. Don't know that I would believe that or agree with that. Naturally, I am biased, of course, so take that with a grain of salt. But as far as just where they're at, he's saying the speculation of, or I guess the thought of, hey, you've got a new defensive coordinator. You got a coordinator that Miami players were ready to get rid of in Vic Fangio. You got C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who's concerns and injury history. Same with Blankenship, which he brought up. Linebacker Devin White getting demoted or benched later in the year. He was bringing up the Jalen Carter hit the rookie wall. Jordan Davis hasn't shown up to expectations. Nolan Smith. So there's some truth in there, but he kind of just hit on every potential negative. I don't know if it was a specific agenda or he's legit being like, all right, that's my opinion, or he was told to write that type of piece. But take it for what you will. That was the similar knock. So you mentioned Dennis talking about a guy knocking Blankenship. I've seen some negative takes, and there's, I can understand if there's thoughts of, hey, so-and-so may not live up to expectations. Talk is cheap, understandably so. We do need to see it. But I'm all right with some doubt. Like, I probably would prefer to live in the underdog territory than to say, I don't know. I don't know if last year was, I wouldn't say last year was like full bore, oh my gosh, this defense is going to be crazy. But I think that there was a lot of hype and expectation going into it, even with the lack of the known coordinator, especially with Desai. I think it was overblown. So this year, I'm okay with saying, oh, hey, you know what? Doubt Devin White because he got benched. Doubt Reed Blankenship because of injuries, or maybe you just thought that he didn't play well. He was playing injured for a long time. Doubt Slay. He got surgery and is supposed to be better. Doubt Nolan Smith. Yes, he needs to show more, but doubt him. Jalen Carter. I don't know who really in their right mind does, but there's a few people that they take the rookie wall and they go immediately like, nah, he's didn't live up to it. Wasn't defensive rookie of the year. Whatever. JD, he's got to show up. So again, there's some truth to it, but I would prefer it, honestly. You I don't know, shut everybody up. Use it as extra motivation. Kai says, Josh, I know we have a connection with IR, but if Ringo was really better, do you think they would have the heart to pull the trigger and start Ringo or play the vet like it's his to lose? That's a totally fair question. Yes, there's a little bit of, bias, conflict of interest in that. But if Kelee Ringo was better and they really felt that, I do believe that Vic Fangio and that Christian Parker would be like, it's yours, man. Like, you're going to get out there and play. Because they have no problem taking a rookie in Quinyon Mitchell and say, all right, yes, you're playing some outside, but we're going to move you into the slot. And we're throwing the whole kitchen sink at you to learn both roles and not having concerns. So I think they would if they legit believe that Ringo was better. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're going with a little bit more of the seniority. But after all, I mean, Zay is being called the OG in the locker room. He's not even that old, but I love the fact that compared to Kelee Ringo and some of the others that they're calling him that. Okay, there you go. Yeah, see, some people were already reading the article. See, Newsom, pure stupidity. Locked on Life reads a missile when tackling, needs better technique. He'll be fine. Frank, glad that your phone's doing well. Ace Flame. There you go. Okay, I like the spicy takes. I'm predicting Reed to get the first pick of the regular season. Sweat gets the first sack. Who's everybody else going with? Who is your go-to? That's an interesting one. I like that. First interception of the season. Who's that going to be? And also first sack. Speaking of Josh Sweat, by the way, just because you brought him up, he's starting to show up, which is good because it'd been a long time, right? Like, kind of wonder, is Josh Sweat still on the team? He's number 19. Maybe he's just not getting noticed because it's a new number. But no, like, he had to go up against Lane Johnson. Understand that's difficult. Going up against Mailata, not always easy to win that. But starting to show up, not the worst thing there. Getting a few sacks. Had, three sacks on Sunday. Best practice for him. And then also got another pressure and I think maybe a sack today. I can't remember, but he was looking good from the reports. So you love that because he has been kind of overlooked. It's like, oh, hey, Bryce Huff at least gets some look, even if he's not playing well, had gotten a lot of attention because it's, oh, he's the new guy. But you heard, BG, Nolan getting a lot of attention, whether it's praise or some constructive criticism or negativity, but getting some attention there. And Jalix Hunt, which, my gosh, and we got to talk about Jalix because I think he's surpassing a lot of expectations. Good problem to have for a guy that I didn't think was going to be as, influential this early on the defense. But yeah, it's certainly positive. Lar, there you go. See, there's a good plug for you. Grab the spot in the Underdog Fantasy League. It's a good time. The app is easy to understand, even for someone my age. Appreciate that. Fanny, your eyes are getting heavy. We need to do the drawing. Yes, we will. We'll do the drawing here in just a second. I'm going to give maybe, 5 or 10 more minutes, and then I'll do the drawing. We do need to get to that. Yes, and Frank, the media does love to stir that up sometimes. Kai, that's okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point, too. Like you say, I hear Vic would go with the vet despite what he says in the press conference. He's old school. Understandable. I think it depends the certain level of play. Because it's also not like if Zay had been in the league last year and he played and he was like solid, I think you'd have more of a case. Like I would understand that more so. But we got to remember Zay was out of the league. Like he didn't play for over a year. He hadn't played an NFL game. So to me, I think that Fangio would go into it like it's a wash. Like, yeah, okay, cool. You've been in this league before, but you've been out of it for a year. I don't envision Fangio just immediately saying, okay, well, Kelee didn't play much, but he did play last year. And, just because Zay's been in the league for, 4 years? I don't remember exactly how long, roughly. And he's got some seniority over Kelee Ringo, then he would just automatically insert him. I think that he's earned it. He's proven that even though he had some time off and he was away from the game, that he's, the better option, at least, for Fangio's defense. Maybe I'm wrong, but I do understand the point of, yes, a lot of times going with the veteran there. Jason, first sack going to CJ GJ. Okay. Little blitz action maybe with a safety. Kai going Isaiah Rodgers first pick, I'm assuming, and Jalen Carter the first sack. Philly Cheese, Jalen Carter first sack, CJ first interception. CMV, Nolan a pick and a sack in Brazil named Defensive Player of the Week. Okay, oh my gosh. If Nolan Smith, if he really gets just one of those, but if he gets a pick and a sack and is Defensive Player of the Week, this channel might just blow up. I don't know what I would do necessarily, but the reaction video during the stream, I can't even really quite envision that, but okay, I like the confidence in Nolan. A pick and a sack. Can you imagine? Looks like a decent amount of CJ and Jalen Carter. I can appreciate that. Jordan Phillips saying first interception to Nakobe Dean. Is it Dejean? Dejean? Hopefully I said that correctly. Q and BG. Okay. BG first sack. Let's see. Jordan first sack for Huff. Frank going with Jalen Carter. Jamar, first interception going to be CJ GJ. First sack Huff. For some reason, I see him getting the first sack. I don't mind that one. Philly Duncan, Q, and Jalen Carter. Happy emoji. There you go. Out fishing and watching the special. Let's go. Does it get any better than that? If you're fishing and watching the show, hanging out? Heck yeah. Josh B, what are we drawing? I don't know. I mentioned it before, but okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah. Sorry. You already got entered. Yes, it's the tickets. For those that are wondering, we're going to do it in just a second, but if you've not gotten in on it, then go to the link down in the description. Click on that link and type in Philly Special in the comments of that video. Not in this one. Every single time that I type that, then we get a lot of comments, and people do it, which is fine, but it doesn't help you to win this one. It'll take you to a different video. Type that in. Come back. We're going to do the drawing in just a second. Let's see. Let me get to this super chat here. Marcus Dudley, appreciate the 2. Said, when do we get your wins and losses for the season? Go Birds. I feel like I've done that a couple different times, but I mean, I'll do it here too. I think that, or are you talking about like specific individual games? I think I've gone through that too, but I in between. I know I said 13-4. I'm really, it's like 12-5, 13-4. And if Charles was here, he'd get on to me. I don't know that he is on tonight's stream, but I've gone back and forth. There's some times where I'm like, yeah, I don't know, but I was talked up to 13-4. That's where I would be at. So somewhere in that range. What are we doing with the first injury question? Oh, come on. We shouldn't be picking who's being injured first, Maddox or Dean. Oh, come on. Hopefully neither. No one gets injured. David, I'm with you. Can't wait for the Brazil game. Going to be hanging out on the chat, on the stream, the entire game. Going to be awesome. It'll be a Friday night hangout for real. I mean, a Friday night hangout, watching the game. That'll be in Brazil. I don't know this at all. I don't listen to any music. I just saw the news. But Anitta, apparently, the Brazilian superstar singer, I guess. I have no clue. But performing at halftime. So for those that are in the know, there you go. Nate, that's an interesting question. Yeah. What is it that you like so much about Nolan? We all know you're a big fan. Can you verbalize why? That's fair. I will do my best to verbalize that. I just like Nolan and his effort. I mean, I guess first off, most of the time, if I'm looking at a player that I like, it's first off effort. Because, I mean, either you have it or you don't. And if you're going to give tons of effort, I'm going to give you a lot of grace. Now, yes, you need to make plays. You got to have production. But I think that he can. And then I also like that he's got the similar type of BG, happy-go-lucky energy, the happy juice energy, the vibes of the squad. You know, he's I guess, I don't know, just seizing every opportunity, talking about how great it is every single day. He's got that just energetic way about him, I suppose, the eternal optimism. So it's a lot of that, like just the personality, the character, and all that seems to align with kind of, I don't know, my thoughts and beliefs and everything. So I'm like, all right, I can really appreciate that. I can get behind it. And when it comes to his game, I've been, I think, honest about it. I've been willing to say this, but for those that have not heard it, yeah, he needs to develop a little bit more pass rushing moves. He needs to have some moves out there. He's got the dip. We've seen a little bit with the inside move that he got Lane Johnson on. But yeah, he's not the full repertoire arsenal that you see, certainly like the top pass rushers and guys that have been here for a while, but also even for pass rushers that have come in this year, or even for pass rushers that have been in since his rookie year. Since last year. Like, he's got to develop that. But I think when it comes to just his sheer athleticism, he can be a weapon. And we've seen Fangio put him in different spots. But yeah, I think that it's just that personality, willing to give you everything, lay everything on the line. Not every player's like that. And, to see the reverse of it, I think that's where it's at. Let's see. Jamarcus, first sack, calling it Jordan Davis. First INT. Old man Slay. We're referring to him as Old Man Slay. Oh, my gosh. Reese's buff. Q with the first pick 6. Okay, so we're going to both of those. A pick and an interception. Yes, for real, Kev, the Eagles better win against Green Bay. I agree with you. All right, let's get this drawing, because I did mention that, and for those that are hanging out for that. Get that set up here. Hopefully everybody has entered. It's for the Nick Foles game, so for anybody there, it's going to be a good one to be at, obviously. Hopefully, as I've said a couple different times, but hopefully it'd be nice if someone wins it that is on the stream here. You don't have to be, but, to get a live claiming of the giveaway wouldn't be too bad. All right, gathering the comments. Looks like we had 1,200, a little over 1,200 comments here, so quite a bit. All right, I'm going to share the screen. Good luck, all. And Lars says no drawing until we have 175 likes. Hit the like button if you haven't already. We'll still draw it, But more giveaways to come also, regardless of how this turns out. Okay, I'm going to share the screen. Good luck to everybody. And who's it going to be? Hopefully someone on this stream here. And hopefully a pronounceable name that's not offensive or anything like that. But, you'd never know. There you go. It is Until They Feel My Sound. All right, well, I don't know who that person's name is officially, but Until They Feel My Sound. Congratulations. You won 2 tickets to the Foles game. Comment there, our comeback story, and how the Birds keep fighting is the Philly special. All right. Congrats to you, man. Obviously, as always, I will post on the community page. If you're here, it'd be great if you just comment all of a sudden. But if not, I'll post on the community page, reach out to me, or just DM on social media. You could do either one. There's lots of different options. But hit me up, thephillyspecialshow@gmail.com. I will post that. Again, you'll have 1 week to claim, so it'll be next Tuesday live stream. If you do not, then unfortunately, I'm going to have to give that away to somebody else. CMV says, hopefully we don't hear his sound, so there's another draw. That's a good one. I like that. Everyone's very supportive. So, and then Kramer's, again, with the typical rigged comment, so I appreciate that one. Anthony DeBona is in the house. Appreciate Anthony hanging out. Says, good evening. Definitely not listening while I write during my shift for Pro Football Network. Of course not, as always, the consummate professional. Appreciate Anthony. I guess I should mention this too. If you're not, if you didn't win that, which seems like just about everyone here didn't, then it's the opportunity, or you have an opportunity to win a Jalen Hurts signed jersey. If you're not, I guess you maybe already are, but if you haven't commented on Anthony's pinned tweet, then you got a chance there, because we're giving away together a Jalen Hurts signed jersey, which is pretty sweet. And I'm not going to lie, I'm going to have a hard time getting rid of that one. But we will. I already told Anthony I will ship it out. It will not be held hostage. It's pretty sweet. It's Kelee green. Heck, I'll share the tweet. Most everyone, I believe, has seen this and already commented, because we've gotten a crazy amount of comments. But if you have not, again, this is the giveaway. It doesn't get much better than this one with the Jalen Hurts jersey. There you go. You gotta be following Anthony on Twitter, or X, I should say. Or and then just reply to the tweet, like and retweet, and there it is. Jalen Hurts signed jersey. Pretty sweet. You got to go to X. Go to X. It's on mine too. I retweeted. So you can either find it there or the other one. People are going at Anthony's getting content from this stream. Yes. Oh, there we go. See, apparently it is. Anthony has a burner account. So the picture didn't really look like Anthony. I mean, but I guess, to that point, that would be the perfect burner account, wouldn't it? Like, if you're going to make it look fake, then you might as well just go all in. So kudos to you, Anthony. Yeah, just I guess I know where to send them to. So congrats to you on winning those tickets. No, I understand. I see some people don't use X, aren't on X, don't have an account. I apologize. We do lots of most everything is within YouTube, but this one was one specifically for the X following and or Twitter follow. I don't know. Call it X. It sounds weird. But yes, just to grow the following there on multiple platforms. So we'll have others. Jalen does have a nice signature. That's a good point. All right, a couple more questions, comments, topics, anything you want to talk about. I know we've touched on just about everything. Wide receiver 3, Q in the slot on the outside, different injuries. Saquon should be fine. Jalix Hunt impressing. Ruben Frank, shout out to him, called him the most impressive, the most surprising player at camp. Very high on Jalix Hunt. Potential trades, if you've not already also, I did mention that, but Anthony's got a good article on potential wide receiver 3s. And if we see Anthony at the Foles game, we know it's his burner for sure. Yeah, so now Anthony knows, though, you better not be posting anything. No pictures, no videos. You can't prove that you were there. You just have to enjoy it. Let's see. C.J. Gardner-Johnson at practice. He did give a pretty good hit to Grant Calcaterra and to Smitty, actually, if you believe that. But there was a report that he was not afraid to dish out some hits. Which, why wouldn't you believe that, right? It's CJ GJ. It's what he does. Not afraid to bring that intensity. That's why you got him. Ace Flame, the next giveaway should be Zay's phone number. Oh my gosh, what do we do? Hey, congrats. You got his phone number here. Paul, how about a giveaway for a throwback Brent Selleck jersey? There you go. All right, we might do some sort of throwback. I don't mind that. Kramer, question on any word on Jalen Mills. Nothing really. I mean, he posted some pictures of the Eagles. I know that it's been speculation. Obviously, with him getting released, he's open to sign to another team. I don't mind a potential of bringing him here. He brings some more versatility and really just some depth because we've had some injuries. So I'm not opposed, while Anthony's here, assuming that he's still creeping. Jalen Mills has had the two best years in terms of like passer rating against the last 2 seasons, and those have been playing safety. So, he's a different guy at the position. Could be serviceable. But yeah, I don't think that we're asking for him to come here and, we're not. I mean, there's your starting safety. There's one of them. And Reed Blankenship's the other one. You're not asking Jalen Mills, even if he comes to the team, to do anything drastic just to hopefully you don't have to use him. If you do because there's injuries, then all right, yeah. But I don't hate it. I don't mind it. Of course, there's obviously Caden Stearns, so we could throw that name out there. Continues to be out with a knee injury. I highly doubt that we will see him. I don't know. I highly doubt we'll see him until what? Week 2, 3? I mean, he's not even getting in practices at this point, so he's not going to play against Minnesota. I mean, I'd be shocked if he did. He's not going to play there. So it's more of a long-term situation, which makes you think that he's making the roster. So there's a roster spot taken by a player that, I guess you could stash him IR. See, there's Anthony's comment. See, I knew it. Jalen Mills would immediately be their best backup safety until Sidney Brown is back, but I'm not sure that's saying much. I'm in agreement that's not saying much. I'm not trying to distract Anthony here, but he could probably tell us more so. The IR rules are kind of interesting, right? There's like 2 IR rules. There's, 2 spots. Let me see. I think there's a tweet that I saw earlier that I can also find on this because there's a little bit of a difference with the IR spot of how they can use it. Where is that? There we go. Let's see. I'll try to put this one on the screen for everybody. Just talking about injuries, right? Injuries, putting guys on the IR, trying to maximize. What am I doing here? Just screen share the thing. This is not working. There. Better. There you go. Todd Archer. So interesting. When figuring out 53-man roster projections, which again is in a week, the 27th, there's been a tweak to the IR rule. Teams can designate 2 players at the final cut down as IR to return guys, no longer requiring them to be on the roster for a day. So, we'll see where people are, but possibly, you look at a Caden Stearns. He's not, you're not cutting him because they don't claim him, I don't think. But just interesting to see where that falls and how they utilize the 2 IR to return guys. It will be very interesting. Nonetheless. Let's see. Eleno, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but Sidney Brown ? Just asking about Sidney Brown in general, or maybe that's to something specific. I mean, as far as Sidney goes, hasn't gotten back in. He's getting work on the sidelines. He looks athletic. He looks solid, but we haven't seen him out there. So you got to imagine he's going to have to get in, multiple practices before they even do anything close. Probably not super quick. I think Nolan's ready if somebody goes down. I'm hopeful for him. Reese's buff still for the Green Goblin returning. Seems like most, I don't know if I should say most, but more people than not seem to be for Jalen Mills. All right, there's also one other thing I was going to bring up too with the identity of the defense, because we've mentioned that too, right? Identity, do they have it? Do they not have it? Zach Bond was on with WIP earlier today and mentioning his thoughts on the identity. He was asked by Hugh Douglas and said, hey, tell me what is the identity of the defense? And he said right there, you see the quote, this is a fast, hard-hitting, good tackling team with high IQ and has a lot of different guys that can make plays at a lot of different positions. Now, seeing that and hearing that, again, like we've said, talk is cheap, but if Zach Bond is 50% correct, it's a drastically better defense than it was last year. Like, let's be honest. So he could be 50% accurate in that assessment there, and that's going to be better than what we saw. Fast? Thinking about last year, maybe not. Hard hitting? Very little. Some of Sidney Brown hits. Nolan had one hit in the Giants game. There's very few that I can think about. Jalen Carter in the Bucs game, but it wasn't just a consistent, like, at least me personally, I didn't think, oh, we're a hard-hitting defense. Didn't think that way. Good tackling team. Alex says good tackling. What, you don't believe that this year? You're already not believing it? Last year for sure, but you're already not believing that. High IQ. They could be put on the coordinators, so, we could put that with a little bit of a grain of salt. But high IQ, I didn't really see that. It felt like everyone's all over the place, doesn't know what they're doing. And guys that can make plays in a bunch of different positions. I mean, let's be honest. Guys struggle to make plays in their own positions, regardless of being moved to a different role. So, let's see. Got some hearts from Kai. Nick Oates says, honestly, hard hitting is a bad thing now. To a certain point, I don't mind a little physicality. I guess if you're just talking about like flags, okay, yeah. Okay, Alex, you hope we have solid tackling at least. Yeah, we all do. CJ, GJ, a dog, though. Dennis saying CJ will hit you. Yes, he will. It does sound nice. Great coordinator. Blanket Chip will hit you. Jack, what's going on, man? Dallas sucks. There you go. Philly Firefly, Josh, thoughts on Jenkins for tight end 3? I think there's a good potential. I think he's the front runner. Anthony is probably still creeping here, but he's got to be the front runner. I would assume he's got to be the front runner based on plays that he's made. Made a good play today. Apparently, Kenny Pickett tried to throw over the middle, got tipped by Jalen Carter, but EJ was still able to make the catch, so good for him. Showing the physicality, former receiver, so you love the athleticism. He made the one-handed grab against New England, and he did return from the ankle or knee injury that he suffered in that game, was back to practice today. Yeah, he's a guy that I think he's got a good shot. He's got to be the front runner. I mean, that may not be saying much because there's a lack of, guys making plays and making a name for themselves at the tight end 3 spot. But so far from the guys that you do have, I think that it's a given. He's got to be the guy so far. And there he was today, like I said. EJ Jenkins. Kramer, I appreciate it. Have a good night. I'm about to sign off. Any last questions, last bits of info there? But there you go. See, Anthony's back. And he says, I was a bit too early on EJ Jenkins, but I'll take it. May end up being correct, though. I don't know. CJ Uzama's not been fantastic. Nick Foles made a one catch, but I don't think that he's really anything there. So we'll see. Jack O'Meara, I appreciate that. That means a lot. I don't know if I don't know if that's accurate, but I appreciate the comment. Philly Don, Green Bay first play is going to be a pass. Rodgers come on a corner blitz for the sack. Okay. It would be unexpected, but wouldn't mind that. Let's see. VP says, hey, Josh, Bird fan out here in SoCal. Are you concerned about Saquon being injury prone this year? Keep up the great work. Go Birds. Thanks. I do appreciate that. Go Birds. I'm not super concerned. Yes, you had a little bit of a lower back injury or something there. I don't think it's a big deal, but I understand that you could say, okay, there's some concern for injury, but let's remember, like, the same thing could be said about DeAndre Swift last year, and he literally could have played every single game. I mean, he got held out because you're talking about a playoff game, but the reports were if he really wanted to, you really wanted him to get out there, he would play in that final game of the regular season. So yeah, it's kind of a crapshoot, but I'm not super concerned because he's got other guys around him and he's got help, support, and everything there. So he doesn't have to be the focal point of the offense too. So he's not going to have 30 touches. Like I think a lot of times you'll have him with 15 touches. Anyway, that's my thoughts. I don't think there's a huge concern, but understand that he's had some injuries. Kristaps Porzingis, I appreciate the 2. I don't think I got to this one earlier. I have no clue what that even means, so appreciate the 2. I think CJ. Yep, I don't really understand the comment there, but I know that I'm sure people do. Anyway, moving on. Super chat 2 from Lar. Appreciate that. When do I send you the 105 for the fantasy league? Yes, we will. Probably tomorrow have an update with Thomas, so just stay tuned. But I appreciate the 2, and I'll get you more details on the fantasy league, got you down for a spot, and everything else. So anyway, that's covering all the details here. I'm going to hop off now. It is fairly late for, obviously, especially people on the East Coast, but more details, content to come. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe. Stay tuned. Another video should be dropping probably, who knows, late tonight, early tomorrow, whenever you get to it, but it should be on the way. We're going to wrap up this edit and get it posted as, most of the very late night uploads are. But as always, appreciate the support. You guys have a good one. Last practice open to the media tomorrow, so more content for that as well. And Wednesday link. But until next time, you guys know what it is. Go Birds.